Eerie Elementary. The Art Show Attacks. By Jack Chabert. Art Attack. 1. Hey! Quit it! Sam Graves said. His friend Antonio was poking at a clay blob on Sam's desk. Sam was trying, and failing, to mold the clay into a dinosaur. Ms. Winter, the art teacher, looked up. "Class, please take this project seriously," she said. "Your art will be sold at Friday's Eerie Elementary Art Show to raise money for new art supplies." Everyone was working on their projects for the show. Ms. Winter's room was set up differently from other classrooms. The students' desks formed a giant circle around Ms. Winter's desk. Her favorite student artwork hung on the wall. "Lucy," Sam whispered. "What's that gunk you're working with?" Lucy grinned. "This is called papier-mâché. I dip pieces of newspaper into a wet mix of water and flour. The paper turns goopy, and then it hardens as it dries. I'm making a bowl. And I'm painting a picture of my dog, Rover," Antonio said. Ms. Winter was checking on the students' work. She looked over at Sam's art project. "Remember, Sam," she said. "Clay stays soft at room temperature. It only hardens when heated. Lucy's project works the same way. You can dry it later this week." Suddenly, there was a loud Sam jumped at the sound. But Lucy was just using a hairdryer to dry her papier-mâché bowl. An instant later, Sam was startled for a different reason. He heard a bubbling sound, like a pot of boiling water. Sam reached into his backpack to make sure his hall monitor sash was there. He wore it whenever he was on hall monitor duty. At Eerie Elementary, the hall monitors were different. That's because Eerie Elementary was different. It was alive. It was a living, breathing thing that fed on students. And Sam, the hall monitor, was the school's protector. Sam clutched the sash. He had a twisted feeling in his gut. Sam could sense things that other students couldn't. He could feel when something was wrong. Whenever Sam had this feeling, Orson Eerie was behind it. Orson Eerie was the mad scientist who built Eerie Elementary almost 100 years ago. Orson Eerie found a way to live forever. He became the school. He was Eerie Elementary. And Eerie Elementary was a monster. Sam put his orange sash away just as the bubbling sound grew louder. Sam gasped. His clay blob was moving. He leaned in for a closer look. Then KERSPLOOT. The blob reached out and grabbed him. It yanked Sam's face smack down into the clay. The blob. 2. Sam couldn't escape. His clay project had grabbed hold of his face. Sam whacked at the clay until pop. He burst up from the blob, gasping for air. Sam heard a few students laughing. "Did you fall asleep in your project?" their classmate Brian asked. Sam didn't know what to say. A dash. Lucy and Antonio looked at their friend. "Are you okay?" Antonio asked. "Yes." Sam nodded. He wiped a clump of wet clay from his chin. "What happened?" Lucy asked. "Ring." "Don't forget, class," Ms. Winter said as the students packed up their things. "The art show is this Friday. You must finish your projects by the end of the day on Thursday." As Sam, Antonio, and Lucy walked out into the hall, Sam looked over his shoulder at the art room. He stopped. One painting was changing. It had shown a beach sunset, but now it looked different. Sam rubbed his eyes. He could hardly believe it. Orson Eerie's face appeared on the painting. A chill ran down Sam's spine. He tried to look away, but Orson Eerie's eyes were staring at him. Lucy called from down the hall. "Come on, Sam. It's lunchtime." Sam felt like he had a golf ball stuck in his throat. He couldn't reply. Finally, he was able to pull his eyes away from the painting. The last thing he saw was Orson Eerie's lips curl into a wicked smile. Sash dash. 3. Antonio munched on one of his famous peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Lucy was opening her lunch bag as Sam plopped down beside his friends. Milk splashed when he set his tray down, but he barely noticed. "Buddy, you still have clay in your hair," Antonio said. Lucy flicked off the glob. "Sam, what really happened in art class?" Sam told them how the clay had attacked him. Lucy and Antonio were assistant hall monitors, so they were used to strange things happening at Eerie Elementary. "At first, it felt like when my grandma kisses me," Sam explained. "She pulls me in and won't let go. But the clay was sticky and I couldn't breathe. Wet grandma kisses are the worst," Antonio said. "And that's not all," Sam added. One of the paintings on Ms. Winter's wall came to life. A sunset became Orson Eerie's face. Just then, Mr. Nakobe walked over. He had been mopping the floor nearby. Mr. Nakobe was the old man who took care of Eerie Elementary. It was Mr. Nakobe who chose Sam to be a hall monitor. He had told Sam the truth about the school. "Sam, did you really see a painting come alive?" Mr. Nakobe asked. Sam nodded. Mr. Nakobe leaned in and whispered, "Orson Eerie loved painting. He painted beautiful portraits and landscapes. He even helped paint the walls of this school." Antonio shuddered. "Orson painted these walls?" "Yes," Mr. Nakobe said. "There's a little bit of Orson in almost every part of this school." That gave everyone the chills. Sam's forehead scrunched up. "Guys," he said. "I think we should take another look at Ms. Winter's classroom. I swear I saw Orson in one of those paintings." "Let's do it," Lucy said. "We have a few minutes until lunch is over." Antonio stood up. "Orson Eerie is up to something and we've got to stop him." "Good luck," Mr. Nakobe said as he pushed his bucket toward the kitchen. Sam threw on his hall monitor sash, and his friends followed him into the hall. But he stopped short. "What is it?" Antonio asked. "I'm not sure," Sam said. He looked down at his sash. Swoosh! Sam was yanked forward. "Whoa!" he exclaimed. The shiny sash was tugging him down the hallway. He pawed at locker doors, trying to slow down. "The sash is pulling me." "We're behind you, buddy," Antonio yelled, running to catch up. The sash pulled so hard, it jerked Sam off his feet. Sam's sneakers banged the steps as he was pulled up a staircase. Sam soared past the computer lab, and then the sash flung him down a hall. He heard Lucy calling from below, "Sam. Where did you go?" Sam shouted, "I'm upstairs. The 5th grade hallway. Hurry!" Suddenly, Sam saw a brick wall in front of him. A dead end. Sam shut his eyes as. Boom! Ow! Sam yelled. He rubbed his nose and stepped back. The sash sagged. It had stopped pulling. Sam was at the end of the 5th grade hallway. The students were at lunch, so the classroom doors were all shut. The hallway lights began to flicker and flash. Then the lights went out. Sam couldn't see anything but darkness. The secret in the dark. 4. Sam heard footsteps in the dark hallway. Lucy and Antonio had caught up. What was that? Antonio said, looking around as his eyes adjusted to the dark. An icy chill came down the hall. The friends huddled together. Some strange force pulled on my sash. It whipped me down the hallway, Sam explained. It let go of me here. Then the lights went out. He touched the wall in front of him. The bricks felt cold and damp. Wait a second, Lucy said. What is that green stuff? Neon goo started oozing through the cracks in the wall. It was the color of a highlighter. It dripped between the bricks. Sam poked it. He rubbed his fingers together. It's paint. Strange, Antonio said. He gently pressed one of the bricks, and it moved. Whoa! Lucy exclaimed. She pushed a brick, too. Then Antonio pushed another one, and a gurgling sound came from the wall. Blub. 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 Wet paint dripped onto the friends' shoes. Guys, what's happening? Lucy asked. The three friends stepped back as the bricks began to move and slide on their own. It was like a giant, real-life Jenga game. Soon, there was a large opening in the wall. This looks like the entrance to a cave, Sam said. They peered inside. There was something beyond the wall, but it was too dark to see what. Suddenly, the sash yanked Sam forward. Yikes! Sam cried. Antonio grabbed his friend's shirt. I have you, Sam. And I've got you, Antonio. Lucy said. But the sash yanked again and the friends tumbled through the opening. They landed on a cold floor in a small, dark room. They could barely see. I have a feeling we should not be in here, whispered Antonio. Lucy dusted herself off. I agree. Sam felt along the wall until he found a light switch. The instant he flicked it on, Antonio screamed, Ghost! Hidden room. 5. That is definitely not a ghost, Sam said to his friends. Lucy laughed. It's just a big white sheet, she exclaimed. Whoops. False alarm, Antonio said. But this room is scary. Sam walked to the center of the small room. The sheet hung over an artist's easel. It was splattered with paint. Sam lifted one corner of the sheet. The friends gasped. Orson Eerie's eyes stared out at them from the canvas. Someone painted a portrait of Orson. Antonio said. Not just someone, Lucy said. Look! She lifted a painter's smock off a dusty coat rack. The letters OE were stitched onto the smock. Those are Orson's initials. Sam exclaimed. This must have been Orson's secret art studio. Lucy said. Antonio stepped away from the painting. That means this is a self-portrait, he said. A painting Orson did of himself. Ring! Lunch was over. We should get back, Antonio said. Sam turned to leave, but thud. He bumped into the wall. Lucy took a step backward. The opening is gone. It's a regular brick wall again. Sam felt for a place to push and open the wall. But there were no more wiggly, moving bricks. The goo was gone, too. Hey! Antonio, cut it out! Lucy exclaimed. Antonio looked confused. What did I do? Lucy replied, I know you were pulling my backpack. Just then, Sam shouted, Antonio's not pulling you. Orson's painting is. It's alive! Antonio and Lucy whirled around. Two strange, paint-covered hands reached out from the Orson Eerie portrait. One had hold of Lucy's backpack strap. Crash! The hand yanked Lucy's backpack off her shoulder and hurled it onto the floor. Watch out, guys! Sam shouted. He leapt back as the hand swatted at him. Lucy ducked as the other hand swiped at her. The hands turned to fists, and smash. Crunch! The fists pounded the floor. Orson's fists are going to smash us to bits, screamed Antonio. Sam's eyes darted around the room. He saw no way out. He saw no escape at all. Fists of Doom. 6. Orson Eerie's self-portrait was alive. 2 painted fists pounded the floor. Sam spotted dusty old art tools scattered across a wooden desk. Those long brushes could be used like swords, he thought. And those wooden pallets are like shields. Even if we can't escape this room, we need to defeat these fists. Catch! Sam yelled, tossing tools to his friends. It's time to fight back. Antonio swung a long brush through the air like a ninja with a sword. But... whack! One fist smacked the brush away. Antonio lifted the wooden pallet and just in time. The fist punched his shield. Antonio staggered across the room and fell to the floor. I'm not letting giant paint fists bash my friends. Lucy shouted. She jabbed her brush and swung her shield. But Orson Eerie's fists opened into wide hands. They snatched the brush and pallet away. A moment later, crunch. The fists crushed Lucy's sword and shield. Splinters of wood shot across the floor. This isn't working. Antonio called out. Sam found more art supplies on shelves above the desk. Lucy! Maybe something here can help us. Orson Eerie's fists pounded the ground. The floor quaked with each hit. The floor is like a trampoline. Antonio yelled as he tried to stand. Trampolines are usually the best, but not this one. Hurry, guys! Sam and Lucy quickly looked through the shelves of art supplies. Paint thinner! Lucy exclaimed, grabbing a huge can. Watch out! Antonio shouted across the room. Behind you! 2 massive hands reached for Sam and Lucy. Lucy yanked off the can's lid, and... splush! Sam and Lucy hurled the paint thinner into the air. The stinky liquid rained down on the monstrous fists. Orson Eerie's portrait trembled on the canvas. Poof! The hands evaporated into thin air. Gone! The friends breathed a sigh of relief. But then... snap! Pop! It sounded like popcorn popping. Sam looked down, the noise was coming from beneath his feet. The floor is splitting in half. Lucy said. Orson's super strong fists broke the floor. Antonio exclaimed.